Hello everyone and welcome back to Dragalia Foundry, a fan channel where everything Dragalia Lost can be found. In this video, I'll be going over a variety of topics. We have little snippets, little morsels of news about various things, and I figured I'd compile them all into this mashup video. I will also be sharing some Dragalia confessions since it was pointed out to me that apparently one of the scenes in Chapter 14 of the game's story, not to spoil anything, but one of the scenes apparently constituted a confession, and I did not really catch on to that at all. So I figured that would be a fun thing to kind of walk through in this video. And I have Mitsuhide here since I am very sleepy, and after recording this I will take a nap, so shout out to Mitsuhide, naps are great. But let's go ahead and get into things proper, starting with a preview we got of the next event. It is going to be another facility event, back-to-back facility events, overlapping even, and this one's called Rhythmic Resolutions. So you may notice there's no audio playing to read out the event text here, and that actually is my first Dragalia confession. Most of the time, I don't play with any audio on at all. I would say if I had to estimate, I play about 90% of the game on silent. And right now, on the device I record on, I play in English, but on my phone, which I also play on during the day, I play in Japanese audio. But yeah, I really very rarely turn on the audio to begin with. Now, with an event called Rhythmic Resolutions, obviously I may change that, but it's never been the main sticking point or the main motivation for why I play. I do enjoy listening to it. I like Daoko's music. But when I'm playing, it's often grinding or repeatedly doing a quest. I'm usually doing something else at the same time, multitasking, that type of thing, so I usually don't play with the audio at all. And as for why I put the English audio on the device I record on, well, it's mainly because I was doing those story chapter readovers, and it felt a little awkward to have the voices being read in Japanese while I tried to read it aloud in English. It just seemed to clash. So that's right now why I have my recording device in English. Anyway, let's go ahead and read this, and then we'll get to our next Dragalia confession. So it says, "Like me, this summer festival shall be utter perfection. It must be ever so lively, Eugene. Oh ho, ho, ho. Sure, Catherine, but maybe we should deal with those weird furballs destroying the town first. I mean, people might be, dying. Such impertinence. I did not schedule a fiend festival. This must be dealt with at once." Well, that guy from Hinamoto says we should do a bond dance to fix things. Coming soon to Dragalia Lost. Rhythmic Resolutions. My bond dance will be the most gorgeous of all. Alright, and then notably, on the second page, we're going to gather ornate lanterns and use them to upgrade the festival stage. And this is only our third ever facility that affects weapons that comes from a facility event. So this one's going to boost up swords and lances. Prior to this, we got the seabed stage that affected bows and daggers. And then we also got a facility during the cooking event, Dash of Disaster, that boosted blades and wands. So now the only weapon types that are left out are staffs and axes, I guess. Yeah, that's right. That should be right. So, my second Dragalia confession, though, you may have noticed how I read oh ho, ho ho. Well, my second confession is I actually do not watch anime. I have very little knowledge about anime. And in some ways, that's not really a Dragalia confession, but obviously the art style, so much of the game, the archetypes are anime-inspired, so I figured I would share that with y'all. I do not understand a lot of references that are happening. Apparently, this type of character, Catherine, is a trope. There's like a spoiled rich woman character or something like that, and this is a signature laugh that they do that sounds like Santa Claus. I don't really know anything about that. The last time I watched anime was probably about a decade ago, so I know that dates me, but some of the anime that I enjoyed at the time were mecha series with world-shattering plots, just like a lot of craziness happening. So for example, I remember being a very big fan of Gurren Lagann and Code Geass. Both of those series have insane twists that happen in the second act where the scope of the entire story changes. I would love to see that with Dragalia Lost. We have those weird space cubes that are happening in the main campaign. Maybe that will actually be implemented in a scope-changing second act for the game. But in any case, I just thought I would share that. I know a lot of Dragalia fans or anime fans know voice actors, know so much more than I do about anime, but I really have no idea or no context in many cases. So if you like this laugh of this character, I'm happy for you. I really don't know anything about it, but I look forward to hearing it. Maybe I'll listen to it in Japanese just for this occasion. Now, on the actual event details page, one of the things that's surprising is this starts on June 26th, so it's going to overlap partially our Halloween facility event that is happening right now, so I hope you have enough stamina. I hope you have some honey saved up. We also find out that we're going to fight against bosses of the flame element, so even though this gives us a facility that boosts weapon types, you're going to want to bring water characters to make this as easy as possible for yourself. And then there's a little bit more detail mentioned here, so they just say the prince and friends arrive at a town where a Hinamotoan summer festival is planned to be held. However, they soon find that the town is in a panic over the appearance of fluffy creatures and their troublesome antics. The prince must work with Eugene and Catherine to bring order to the situation, but they discover that the only solution is to dance a Bon dance. Now, I really don't know what dance a Bon dance means in this context, but we're going to find out a little bit more by watching the trailer that was posted over on Twitter. So I'll go ahead and play and try overlap that onto the video now. I'm going to be watching it for the first time, so hopefully we enjoy it. Alright, announcing the next facility event. Okay, now this music is very good. Festivals are stupid anyway. It's way better for me to chill with you here, right, Sam? Alright, that's Eugene and that's Sam. Sam says, Susu. I like Sam. So long as I hold the reins, this year's festival shall be utter perfection. That's Catherine. Oh, but this is terrible, terrible, I say. Fiends have appeared in the southern woods and are headed for the town. Alright, Becky and Sandy. I thought those might just be NPCs, but they seem to be more relevant if they have names. Oh, we finally get another Fiend portrait, rather than the generic one, and it looks like a Digimon. Alright, now we have somebody here, somebody mysterious. Oh, suggesting the Bon dance. Marvelous Naoto. Get away from Sam, lady, your stupidity is contagious. I will not stand by and listen to you of all people spout such drivel. Wait, do you hate her or not? Catherine, you really know how to push my buttons. You humans are a handful. It won't make a difference. Oh, that portrait in the background, that landscape rather, is so gorgeous. That's why Okay, I do love this music. That's why I hated you. So I would say that in addition to the anime that I mentioned, I was a shonen fan, particularly Shonen Jump, and around the same period. So this music does resonate with me as like very clearly a great soundtrack to open or close an episode of an anime. So I will extend that at least for this, and it looks pretty fun. I'm looking forward to it, but notably absent, and this is a bummer to me, but when you hear summer festivals, Hinamotoans, you have to imagine Yaten and Natalie are going to be part of it. Not in the trailer, not in any preview for this event. We do have Sam that kind of makes up for it, because Sam looks fantastic here, and to me it looks like Sam reminds me of something from Grand Blue Fantasy, but I don't know enough about that game, but it kind of looks like a character from it. Maybe that's in my head, in my imagination, but I feel like I've seen Sam before, as well as that Digimon-looking fiend. But in any case, Yaten and Natalie not being here leads me to my next Dragalia confession, which is, I have done some off-camera summoning. So, Yaten is actually a character I got during the prize showcase last year. It's been a long time. Let's go ahead and do this by date ascending, I suppose, so you can see the characters I got in the order I got them. But very rarely do I summon off camera, and the prize showcase came out between Christmas and New Year's, and I think I was like switching devices or something. I don't have the recording when I summoned Yaten, basically, but I did dip into the prize showcase a good amount, spent a good amount of Wormite on it, once I had secured my Dragon Yule Malera from the Winter Dragon Yule showcase. So you can see Eleonora here, obviously, first unit I ever summoned. And then if you scroll down, let's try to find Yaten here. Oops, I accidentally clicked on Addis, who, Addis is funny to bring up because with me not using the audio very much, as I mentioned earlier, I really thought his name was pronounced Adiz for a long time. I just thought that sounded cool. That's what I called him. Actually, if you go in here and click on his voice, you can find out how his name is pronounced. It's either on his or one of the other Hinamotoans. And I know people have that same issue with how I pronounced Julieta instead of Julieta, and some people don't like how I pronounce Lakshi instead of Laxi, I guess, or something like that. It's hard for me to even say. But anyway, here we have Yaten. Got him toward the end of the year, but before the new year, so he was the only character I got off that prize showcase that was actually new. He was a character I was considering dream summoning because I think he's so cool. Another sleepy character, not unlike Mitsuhide, so he is very relevant to us today. But yeah, it's a character I've wanted to have a mana spiral. He doesn't have one right now. He could maybe be the 5-star if these two new characters are 4 stars or something on a new banner. But if that were the case, I feel like he would be featured more prominently. So I hope he makes an appearance in the event at the very least. But that's not all there is to this Dragalia confession. So I said that I sometimes summon off camera. You've seen the example of Yaten. But you may have noticed, if you've been watching my channel carefully, that my Wormite is about 20,000 less than it really should be right now. I was pushing past 60k with the goal of saving up to 100k for the first anniversary of the game. But feeling emotional, feeling overwhelmed with the sense of ennui, I guess. It's hard to put my finger on. When I read that article about Dragalia's future, Nintendo mobile games future on Sunday, the last day to summon for Nadine and Linnea, I actually did some summoning off camera again and spent quite a bit of resources, about 300 summons total. I want to say 300, feels like about that. And in any case, I will show you now the results of my summoning. So, it was pretty fortunate. I'm sorry you're seeing a new unit here, but hopefully you know who that new unit is. I didn't mean to really feature her right now, but I got Linnea, first of all. I got Radiant Xuansong. Then I got Tobias. Surprised it wasn't a Linnea dupe because I got a fair number of Linnea dupes. And I got all these characters in about 100 summons. And it took me about 200 more summons to finally get Nadine. But basically, Nadine's story about trying to encapsulate memories and cherish moments made me feel emotional about Dragalia, its future, and just thinking about the trajectory we're on. This was a character who spoke to my heart. I decided to go ahead and try summon her. And now I'm working on crafting her a weapon. So I do have these characters. This may come as a shock to many of you, but I decided to summon them. And the worst part about all of it is, take a look at this. Yep, appearance rate 5%. I summoned twice accidentally with 10-folds on this Halloween banner. It's the most cursed thing, but that's why I should hold myself accountable and do my summoning on camera more often than not. Oh man, Meridimus is freaking me out. You see why I turn off the audio. But anyway, this is what we have left. I think we still have a good amount left, so I'm pretty happy with where we are. But I thought I would share that since I know some of you will be interested in it and will be surprised to see the Wormite had gone down. But anyway, let's continue. The next thing I want to talk about in this video was Ayaha and Atoha's Wrath. So we also got a trailer for this, and we got some details here. The twin girl Agito laughed innocently. The black-haired girl flashes a sneer at the unsightliness before her, while the white-haired girl looks down on her insipid foes. Their two bodies house a single heart, a heart that has room for little more than shameless cruelty. These two Agito proclaim freedom as they crave and devour entertainment. The merciless twin girls have names, and these names are Ayaha and Otoha. So I'm perhaps pronouncing that incorrectly as well, but let's go ahead and check out the trailer for their Agito battle that was posted over on the Twitter. I will try overlay that now, and let's react to it. Alright, let's play together. They look like they're stationed pretty close to each other. Lazri, Xander, Ricard, and Lily. Seeing a good amount of purple attacks, so that could make this challenging. Maybe they're the first Agito really designed around the role change. Although you'd have to imagine Ciela was, that they would have known about that for a while. Okay. Purple moves again, and Xander has died. They have 4 icons for abilities instead of the normal 2. Butterfly icon active now. I wonder what that means. So I'm just reacting this for the first time, so I probably won't notice certain things that people who have dived into this a lot notice. Oh, I love that. This reminds me of the Twin Rova boss in Ocarina of Time with Fire and Ice. That looks a lot like Ciela's move as well. So maybe this fight will be very similar to Ciela in some ways. Whoa! Wind Orb and a Flame Orb seems like, but they're both Fire Element. You can see the Fire Element there. Okay, and that's it. Alright, looks like a pretty spicy trailer. I don't know if anyone caught anything in there that tells you anything about mana spirals, but there has been a little bit of data mined information, so we know that weirdly, characters who had values for mana spirals have now seen those values removed, suggesting that maybe they're cleaning them up in preparation for mana spirals. I don't really want to get into that because I can't speak on it with authority. I don't really know what all of those characters are, what it's going to be like, but stay tuned. In the next couple days, if we are going to get some water mana spirals to accompany this, we will probably know. I have seen images of the weapons from this that have been data mined, and apparently the water Agito weapons give you a critical rate buff and a defense buff, which seems solid. The strength buff probably better on net than critical rate, since it looked like a low amount, like 12% when max unbound, but that remains to be seen, I suppose. And some worm prints that go for the new event were also revealed, but I haven't looked at those super closely. Anyway, I'm excited about this one. I will probably use, I don't know, I might use Lazri, Valeria, or Mitsuba. I want to try to get good at one of these stance characters because it's an area where I'm still lacking pretty severely, but I think it would be fun to learn to play them. Otherwise, Tiki might be a nice choice as well. I could see her being pretty fun to play. We'll see who ends up being meta for this. What I hope these bosses can do, sincerely, is I hope they can dispel buffs on us. Water has a lot of really buff-centric characters. I think it would be very interesting if these bosses have the ability to eliminate those buffs, so that maybe we can see a little bit more variety than just Gala Ellie and normal Ellie buff stacking. Now, granted, I don't know if that will happen, and even if it does, maybe it would just put us in a situation where it's all about frostbite uptime. You want to have one frostbiter and the rest of your team be DPS. But I'm very curious to see what happens. It's weird that they showed Ricard there, so maybe Ricard will be lucky enough to get a mana spiral. He really could use it. Anyway, I guess that's really all I have to say on this particular Agito trial. But I suppose it's time for another Dragalia confession as we wrap things up here, since there's not too much else to talk about besides the version update. So, I mentioned hearing about the confessions thing from the story, and my next thing I want to mention is that despite having read all of these stories, the truth is I often skip through stories and do not read them. So, as much as I enjoy some of the writing on these, and there are some which I go out of my way to read because, in part, they're reviewed so highly, like I read Tiki's, for example, because it seemed very, very fun and very cute. A lot of times when I get a character, I will just click through the stories very quickly, collect my Wormite, and it's not until much later that I'll go back and actually read these. So people have been a little critical of the chapter 14 of the game's story, saying that it might have jumped the shark, questioning some of the decisions that took place. In my mind, it's pretty much consistent with what I expect from the storytelling and the writing. I'm totally happy with it. And what excites me are moments where big things happen and big characters are introduced or have exposition. So, like, I love the stuff with Volk. I don't necessarily care for Baron. I'm not really a fan of his. I don't even necessarily care about Mascula. I mean, I like Lakshi, but not necessarily Mascula, or the random androids, obviously. But just having those really cool moments with Volk or the potential leader of the Agito, sorry for some spoilers here, but having those cool moments is enough to redeem the chapter for me. I really just gravitate toward things like that. I like hearing about those characters. I love Volk as a boss and the Agito as a concept, because some of my favorite villains are, let's say, villains from like Legend of Korra, for example, that have a clear philosophy, right? So I like Zahir, I like Kuvira. I like these characters that have a really compelling motivation as much as it's flawed, and Volk in particular almost reminds me of like the Joker, because he doesn't necessarily acknowledge or realize the hypocrisy of the power he has. He's almost just maniacal in his mission. So I think that as long as there's characters like that, and you know, some of these adventure stories are excellent, despite the fact that I haven't read that many of them, but as long as there's characters like that, I think I'm going to continue to feel compelled and drawn to the plot of the game. Really, I don't really care for many of the main cast, other than, let's say, Not, Ronzel, Luca to a certain extent as well, and Cerise to a certain extent, but like, I mainly like Not. She's the one I'm there for most of the time, so I've never been a Yuden or Ellie fan, so I really have no expectations for what they do or how they act. Okay, so that's my next Dragalia confession. And what else do we have to discuss today? I mean, we don't know if another banner's going to come up or not. We have these overlapping events. Oh, I suppose the last thing is that the version update was released, so let's discuss that briefly. Really, I have not had time to set up my teams yet, so let's find the version update and see if I've noticed anything that came out of it. Increased team slots, I noticed. We can change our Dragon's Roost. I guess I must have collected some Eldwater, or I will, for these characters. And I haven't done anything with the data. I did appreciate the storage change for our gear. Collected those Halloween items finally that were in a 5-pack. Oh right, the Fafnir levels increased. So, or not the Fafnir, the Dracolith. So I'm really happy about that because I like to play the High Dragon Trial still. So that's really cool. Play Expert and solo it if you just want, well, if you want the orbs plus the Talon Stones. You do need a lot of Talon Stones, so I think that that's going to be something you want to grind up. By playing Expert, you could see here, and I haven't finished all of mine yet, but I have 500 of these left, and then very few of the other orbs, so I'm going to be playing this a lot, which is great. It gives me another project. And with my Talon Stones, I still need a good amount more. You need about 800 of these per Dracolith, getting them from 20 to 30. And incidentally, we're actually in just the right spots for the final Dragalia confession that will close out this video. So I'll be away playing this, grinding these up, playing the facility events, probably make a video when the new one comes out, and also make a video for the Agito eventually. But I'm just going to be chilling, taking a nap for sure after this. But my last confession, which you may have seen a glimpse of, is... Dun 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 dun! Yes, I bought the 6-star Unbinding pack. Probably one of the worst purchases you can make in Dragalia Lost, but, you know, I rarely make these purchases on this game. Let me buy this stupid 6-star ingot. I feel like they've done their best with this Onslaught event. It wasn't the greatest. It was kind of the reject event for many people, but I love the characters. Let me buy this pack to show my support. And so I have this now. I guess I'm going to just hold on to it forever. And it's pretty shiny, it's pretty great. And that's going to do it for this video, everyone. So I hope you enjoyed this silly look. Obviously, my sleep deprivation catching up to me now as things become more and more ridiculous. Let me know what you think about all this random stuff in the comments below. I will see you later this week for more content. But for now, thank you as always for watching, take care, and I'll see you next time.